Hello, happy Tuesday, everybody. Excellent. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna write it down. Okay. Awesome. So, how is everybody today on this amazing Tuesday? So, I know. Sorry, I'm 2 minutes late. I lost track of time. I sit here at work, and I don't know where the time goes. So, as you know, like we do most every other Tuesday, is I'm answering your guys' questions off of the Patreon group. So patreon.com/create your future. And yeah, so let's take a look here at what questions we have. So looks like we have 11 questions today. I know one of them is actually a request. It's not a question, actually. Yeah, so let's just dive straight in and get started, okay? So for anybody that maybe is looking to join the group, I will just put it in the link here, okay? There we go. Awesome. Okay, hello everybody. I love you too. You love myself. I love myself. I love you all. Everybody's loving everything, right? Why not, right? It's our realities. We create it. So definitely. So let's take a look here. So we've got Ninja Cat's question. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for all your help, and thank you for my coach, Erica, too. Oh, that's amazing. She is awesome. My question is about living in the end, okay? So I'm dating my SP. How do I live in the end when I am with him? It might be inappropriate to pretend we're an old married couple all the time. I want to live in the end all the time. Will this scare away my SP? Well, everyone is you pushed out. So, I put the time that I answered your question here. So it's 1:58. So 1:58, I answered your question. Okay. So basically, how do we live in the end? Is we live in the end, we accept our current reality, with the assumption that it's turning into what we want, okay? But we really live in the end with our thoughts, okay? So, I mean, sure, what you buy, like, an engagement ring, and you tell them, oh, I'm pretending this is from you. Yeah, that's it's probably gonna be like, okay, like what's going on here? But really, how I describe it and explain it is, for instance, okay, let's say you are, looking to manifest $1 million, okay? And right now you're only on a budget of $1,000 a month, okay? So how do you live in the end of being a millionaire with only $1,000 a month? Well, you can't just go out and spend your $1,000 a month that you have budget like you are a millionaire, but you think that you already are, meaning you think from that end. So what does that look like? Well, what that looks like is you respect and you live within your $1,000 a month budget, but you don't have anxiety over bills coming in. Okay, you think from the end. If a bill's coming up in tomorrow or the next month, that's going to be more than what's in your budget. You say, I'm going to have more than enough money from that, because that's what you would be thinking if you were a billionaire. Okay, so you think from it, and then, but at the same time, you respect your current reality and you accept your current reality. Okay, so basically, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe I only have $1,000 a month budget now. However, I am making more and more money every single month, because basically, if you were a millionaire and you were to look back, you would be like, yeah, you know what, every month I made more and more money, blah, 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 right? So that's how you live from the end. Now, how do you live from the end of, your relationship, right? Well, I mean, you accept your current reality. So, for instance, a friends with benefits situation, right? You would look at that friends and benefits situation, and you would basically be like, so your friends with benefits. Now you can either look at it like, it's coming from rejection, being he's only using me or she's only using me, or you can look at it like, okay, we're friends with benefits because this is going to turn into a relationship. Okay, now you're looking at it from the end of being in a relationship. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? It's not that you've got to turn around and talk and say, oh, we're married and go on like that. Well, sure, you can joke around about that. I mean, you're great because he's you pushed out if he thinks you're crazy or not, or that's going to scare him away. Do you get what I'm saying? So you've got to really work on the story there. There seems to be a lot of questioning here, and the questioning is going to be, going to be a bit of it's going to hold you back, right? So, I would stop questioning and start creating. Okay. So yeah, with specifics on how to live in the end when you're dating, I mean, you know, law of attraction doesn't change the way we create things. It's we've always been doing it. You guys have always been creating. Every single one of your thoughts always have created. There's no turning it on, turning it off, using it, not using it. You're always doing it. You can't help it. Okay, that's just the law. Your thoughts create, period. Okay, you know, everyone is you pushed out, period. It's not like, oh, I used everyone is you pushed out to manifest that. Well, no, you're always using it. Okay, because everybody is you. Okay, so you know, when you're dating, it's the same thing. Okay, so like you meet somebody, then you start dating, and then as you're dating, you're making the assumption that this is going to get serious, right? And then you get serious, and as you're in a serious relationship, you make the assumption that eventually you're going to get, married. Da 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 da. So you still, relationships still follow that, and the only thing that changes, well, it doesn't even change. I mean, I've known people that don't even know law of attraction that get married all the time. So how are they, manifesting a specific person if they don't even know the law of attraction? Well, easy. They're just assuming the person wants to be with them. Okay. So knowing this information doesn't change how relationships naturally progress already. Because before you even knew law of attraction and you're manifesting a specific person, you were already doing it. You just didn't know that's what you were doing. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. Sometimes I think, that all of a sudden we think that it's something different. Like all of a sudden things change. Well, no, they don't change. It's the same. It's the same. Now we're just aware of how we're doing it. That's the only difference that we have now, which sometimes can be bad because sometimes we question now that we know. We question LOA. Sometimes that could become a block rather than just trusting. I know lots of people that don't know LOA, and it doesn't matter. They just assume the best and have confidence in themselves, and they're very successful. So yeah, we're always doing it. Okay. um okay, so 7 minutes and 15 seconds, we have the next question. So 7 minutes and 15 seconds, we've got Danielle's question. Remember, guys, you know what, if you would like to ask a question, definitely sign up for the group, the Patreon. I put it in the link in the description. Yeah. So this is where we ask the questions, okay, and answer them. This is where I get all the questions from. Okay. So Danielle's question is, okay, so when you've been doing good at your mental diet and you've identified blocks, and then out of nowhere something pops up that you really didn't expect or think was an issue, what do you do? Does this mean what I'm doing isn't working? Well, no, it doesn't mean anything. Everything is empty and meaningless, and it only has the meaning you give it. So if something pops up that you really didn't think it was an issue, well, then, it's good. Just pretend it's not an issue. Just acknowledge it, renounce it, and go to and say the opposite intention. So, that's the thing, right? Like when we make a declaration for something and we say, look, you know what, I'm going to have this. Okay. This is the prize. Okay. All of a sudden, okay, you're going to notice, and your brain is going to show you all the discrepancies from where you are now to get there. Okay. You're like, I'm going to marry so-and-so. And all of a sudden your brain's going to go, okay, but first of all, you don't think he likes you. Second of all, you don't think you're skinny enough. Second of all, you don't think you're good enough. Third of all, he's got a girlfriend. Or fifth of all, he's, and like your brain is going to tell you every single problem that holds you from that. Not to hold you back, but for you to acknowledge it and to renounce it. Okay. So if you didn't think something was an issue, good. But obviously, you've created that person to have that issue. Okay. Think of it like this. Okay. Intentions and thoughts. Okay. Every single thought you have is an intention. Okay. And what happens, okay, is when you create intentions, Gerry's going to join us on this, is okay. So, I don't know. Let's see. For instance, okay. So, okay, trust. We'll say trust. Okay. So one issue is one time you thought, oh, maybe he doesn't trust me. Okay. So all of a sudden that trust stuck to Gerry. Okay. Now you totally forgot about it. That's fine. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, Gerry wants to be with me. Okay. So wants to be with me. Okay. Be with me. And there's another post-it note. Here's he wants to be with me piece, post-it note. Now that gets stuck to him. Okay. That's stuck to him too. Right. And then, let's say another post-it note was relationship, right? He wants a committed relationship. So then Gerry tells you that he wants a committed relationship. Okay. So you've made all of these thoughts, okay, with him. Now, all of a sudden you forgot about the trust one. And then one day Gerry says, well, I want to be in a relationship. I'm just not sure. And you're like, well, why? And he's like, because I don't trust you. And you're like, wow, where did that come from? I totally forgot about it. Because what happened is this Post-it note stayed stuck to him the whole time, even if you remember or not. Because your subconscious mind will basically hold things in a position that you've previously created them at. That's why it's so important to go through, like I say this every single week, go through those lists of all of your doubts and concerns and complaints and change those into positive intentions. Dump out what's in your subconscious mind. The other way you're going to see what's in your subconscious mind is Gerry's going to show you the Post-it notes at some point. So right now, this means, I would say, it's working, okay? Something you didn't think or expect was still an issue popped up. Good, you need to deal with it. Your brain's like, look at, you've got a block here. This is still a problem. So easy, you know what? Go back to feeling like it's not that big of a deal and renounce it. If it's trust issues, I intend that Gerry, trusts me and that he wants a relationship with me. Okay. And then all of a sudden this turns into, I do trust you. And then now, boom. Okay. Now all of a sudden he wants to be with me and in a relationship because he trusts me, instead of he wants to be with me and he wants to be in a relationship, but he's not sure because he doesn't trust me. Okay. Do you see how this works? Basically, thoughts are Post-it notes that stick to people. Okay. And the question is, when they pop up, right? Okay, what stuck to you? What did I create you with? Okay, that's the question. And and that's what recreating people is basically is recreating all those little Post-it notes that you stuck to a person, because all of your thoughts, your sum total of your thoughts and your assumptions created that person. Okay, now what were your thoughts and assumptions at the time, throughout the past history, da 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 da? That's what's going to be stuck to the person. Okay, so this is good. You know what? If you didn't think it was a big deal and not an issue, then just go and renounce it and just be like, look, it just came up. It's not a big deal. Like, don't think that this is like a huge thing, because it really isn't. It's, I think that's another part of this is not looking at, these things as a huge deal. When I hear something that I don't want, my first thought is, yeah, we'll see about that. So if you are feeling like you're in front of a mountain, then start creating little things elsewhere. Like I was just talking with Ree, and we just did a video, and a couple days ago, I wasn't feeling so great. Like I totally forgot that I was this powerful creator, and I was having a rough day. And then 2 little tiny manifestations of everyone as you pushed out just kind of came about in my day. And one of them, the person really tried hard to get a hold of me. Like seriously, they went out of their way. Like it was crazy because I wasn't answering my phone. But you know what? Finally, I was like, okay, I'll answer my phone, right? So I answers my phone, and it was out of the blue, right? That boom, my manifestation came. And when it wasn't even that, like it was just a tiny thing, but that was enough to get me back going. Amanda, you know what? You've got this. Like you run the show here. Like, come on, get back into that. So I would say if you're feeling like things really huge, and go create another little areas. Okay. Yeah, I hope that helps. Let's see here. So let's take a look here. So 13 minutes and 23 seconds. We've got Adila's question. I hope I say that right. I really feel like I don't. I'm so sorry. I want to. I intend to. Thank you for your response last week. Oh, you're welcome. From what I decided to script and do a mental diet for the next 30 days about positive aspects of my relationship and my boyfriend. Excellent. It's been going well and I feel much better, but I started noticing 2 of my close friends only talk negative about their partners, despite the positive advice I give them continually with the negative stories. I understand everyone has their own journey, but it can drain my energy. So I decided not to engage in relationship talk with them as much. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm like, where's the question? It continues. Okay, next. We're moving down. So my question is, if everyone is me pushed out, are my friends who continue to focus on negative stories about their partners a reflection of my own thoughts and beliefs about them? Yes. Or it could be very general too. I mean, you can just be like, oh, you know what? Like, people always talk negative about their boyfriends. Okay, so that would cause it right there. Like, or even saying some people do. Okay, or some people don't appreciate what they have. That would cause that. So there could be any number of ways that you've created that. Pardon me, any number of ways. But yeah, some thought somewhere created it. Does that mean that you have a negative outlook about your relationship? No, not necessarily, because it's not that people mirror you. Where, okay, so let's say, they're talking negative about their relationships. Does that mean that I feel negative about my relationship? No, not at all. I mean, so it's somewhere it was created. Either you've created them to always be negative. I once had this friend and I created them that they were negative all the time. And yes, it was very draining. And so again, but that was my opinion of the person. That was my assumption of the person. So that's how they showed up. So of course, everyone's me pushed out. That's got to reflect back to me. It's got to be shown to me in my reality. So it's either your general opinion about people or it's your specific opinion about those people. But it has no reflection on how good you are or whether you're good enough or how you treat your person in your relationship. And they're most certainly probably not reflecting back your blocks in your relationship because they've got their own relationship. They're reflecting what your assumptions and opinion about other people are, whether them or just in general. You see, guys, we create things very generally. We can create them or specifically. So we can create basically, there's good and bad in the world. And now all of a sudden, like you'll see something bad and then you'll see something good. Okay. So, we create or we can create very specifically, like I did with that one friend. Oh, he's always negative. Like he was. So you can always turn it around by starting to say, look, and I intend that they start talking positive about their boyfriends and say good things about their boyfriends. And we always have good conversations and we always feel good when we're together, Okay. Yeah. Patricia's question. Yay. So 16 minutes and 43 seconds. Okay. So what do we got here? Hi, Amanda. Hello, Patricia. I hope you're doing well. I am doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. I manifested my mother-in-law's part-time job to end on the 9th. Okay. I already started creating intentions to reverse it, and I'm saying them like a mad woman. If I can't revert the situation, it'll throw a wrench on everything I'm trying to achieve. Oh, okay. I think that I created this because I'm afraid to have things I want. Whenever I say affirmations like I'm good enough, I deserve it, I'm worth it, sometimes I don't feel it. Can you please give me any advice? I understand you can't know my specific case. Yeah. So, I mean, okay, I get what you're saying here. Now, the thing is, right, first of all, you are creating a whole bunch of stuff here that things are dependent on other things. Things don't have to be dependent on other things, right? If basically I say, well, look, you know what, either I get this job or nothing. Well, you're just making a pigeonhole and you're saying, okay, this is how, you're being attached to stuff, like saying it has to be this way, but does it have to be that way? Can't the mother-in-law get a better job? And if she doesn't have a job, isn't there any other possibilities and is there any other options? Okay, so I would sit down and write down, basically either say, look, I don't care how it's going to happen, but I'm going to get my desired results. Okay, regardless of what everybody else is doing. Okay, whether she gets a job or not, she's going to figure it out and I'm still going to get what I want. Okay, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, if you really want to be that particular and, your brain's on overtime, then think about, different scenarios of how it can happen, start creating. She gets another job. She moves in with somebody else. Like, I don't know, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like focus on how it's going to happen or focus on it happening. Live from the end that you want. Okay. Just from your message, you're living from the end of this isn't going to happen. The thing is, right, guys, is you don't have to believe when you say I'm good enough, I'm perfect. Things always work out for me. I see intentions all the time. And then I'm like, wow, that actually showed up. Okay. I didn't even believe it because, you don't actually have to believe what you're saying. It's your thoughts create. Okay. But you can't have constant disbelief that your thought's going to show up. Okay. You got to believe the process to some point, right? Because saying, okay, this is BS and it doesn't work, that's going to block everything. You're never going to see anything you manifest. Okay. But if you're to just basically say, yeah, sure, I believe my thoughts create. Of course I do. And then start spurting out what you want. You'd be quite surprised that you don't actually have to believe it. But, you want to start shifting the balance and start, focusing on what you want. And, if you can't stop overthinking how it's not going to work out, then use that overthinking to plan out how it is going to work out. Okay. You can never give too much detail or too little, I mean, it's up to you. You're the creator, but I mean, start focusing on you getting what you want. And if you really are having a lot of trouble stopping the overthinking, then spend that energy and time to map out how it's going to happen, or just say, look, I don't care how it's going to happen. I'm going to get what I want, and it's going to work out for everybody, and it's going to happen now because I'm good enough, So, okay, I hope that helps. Okay, but guys, you know what? On this forum, we answer questions. We don't do coaching. Coaching is through our coaches. Okay. Yeah, let me take a look here. So guys, again, we do answer all the questions on the Patreon group. Definitely check it out. I put the link in the chat there so you can check it out. Okay, so 20 minutes and 33 seconds. We've got the next question. So it's CC's question. Hey, Amanda, are partial manifestations showing you what your mind is focused on? Or they basically, you've blocked your manifestation, so here's the next best thing. Like if I manifested seeing my SP's name instead of seeing him, is it showing me my manifestation is on its way because it's on my mind? Or is it I'm seeing his name because I blocked the actual manifestation of seeing him? I hope this makes sense. Well, I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it, but usually, yeah, a partial manifestation would mean that you probably still have a block somewhere, okay, because you're not seeing everything in your reality. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I say the sentence, I'm going to go to the restaurant tonight, right? But the restaurant is always packed. You have to wait 20 minutes to get a seat, and there's never any parking. Okay, that's my story about the restaurant, okay? But then all of a sudden I say, well, you know what? That's it. I intend, to get a seat right away. Okay. And for the restaurant to be empty. Okay. And I'm going to get it by the fireplace and I can see it now, okay. I can picture myself all cozy beside that fireplace, and sitting there with Andrew, and having a steak, like whatever. Right. Okay. Then I go to the restaurant and all of a sudden I get there and guess what? The parking lot is completely packed. Okay. But I go in and sure enough, I get a seat right away, right beside fireplace sitting there with Andrew. Now that's a partial manifestation because, okay, now I really wanted, obviously, when I was intending that the restaurant would be empty and I'd get a seat, I was automatically assuming that the parking lot would be empty, right? Of course, the parking lot would be empty, you know what I mean? But I didn't actually specifically deal with that in my sentence, okay? When I was creating, basically I didn't actually say, oh, you know what? I totally just skipped over that. I was just imagining the end result of, basically being in the restaurant and sitting at the table beside the fireplace, but I didn't even address the packed parking lot. Okay, and this actually happened to me once. It's like we got to the restaurant and the parking lot was completely packed and it was like, oh my goodness. But then, and I even had Andrew drop me off at the front door so I would get in line to wait while he found a parking spot somewhere. So we would, wouldn't wait all night to have dinner. And then sure enough, it turns out that the restaurant was empty. And okay, so that was a partial manifestation. I didn't deal with the parking lot being empty. Okay. Had I basically taken it and said no, and the rest, the parking lot is going to be empty, and then that would have happened as well. Okay, so if you're getting partial manifestations, there's something that you're not addressing that's blocking that thing from coming through. Okay, so obviously you're not blocked from seeing his name or hearing his name because you're focusing on it. Okay, so like same thing, right? Let's say you're focusing on someone asking you out. Okay, but they're not asking you out. But all of a sudden you'll start seeing their name and you'll start seeing other people get asked out and on TV and stuff. So that's partial manifestation because you got blocked a story with them asking you out. Because remember, thoughts are things. They're sticky notes that stick to people. Okay. So, in my restaurant, the parking lot being packed, that Post-it note was still stuck to that parking lot. And I didn't address it. So guess what? The universe was like, yeah, last thing you said is you wanted that parking lot packed. Guess what? You got it. There you go. It's packed. Your wish is my command. You never said it wanted it empty. You said you wanted the restaurant empty. You didn't say anything about the parking lot because that's how detailed and intricate our thoughts creating are. Okay. So yeah, partial manifestation, it's good. Use it to your advantage. I did a video on how to find your blocks with partial manifestations. Okay. So I intend that makes sense. I understood your question. I hope you understood my answer. Okay. So yeah, with Lisa's question, let's take a look. 24 minutes and 55 seconds. Yeah, so 25 minutes and 9 seconds. Here we go. 25 minutes and 9 seconds. We got Lisa's question. 25 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay. So, can you talk about feeling as a secret? My understanding from reading Neville is that the feeling of it being done and it should be natural and neutral. Absolutely. Because if you had it, you're like, ask me how it is to live with Andrew. Like, you know, I've heard others discuss how when manifesting a relationship, you should feel all these loving feelings. Well, I mean, you can, but I mean, you know, the thing is, right, is, let me answer, I'll read the rest of this and I'll answer. They say that it impresses your subconscious mind that it's the secret feeling. I wonder what your thoughts were on this. Okay, so okay, I'm going to share my thoughts with you, Lisa. Okay, so basically, neutral, natural, because when you think about it now, you're like, right? Like you have it. Okay. Now, what feeling as a secret is to basically eliminate all the negative emotions. Okay, so you won't have anxiety. Okay, you'll be absent of that. You'll be absent of worry. You'll be absent of being upset or whatever, resentment, rejection. You'll be absent of those negative feelings. Okay, so neutral and natural is where you want to go to. Okay. Now you can create what you're going to see, hear, and feel. There's nothing wrong with that. Neutral and natural is the baseline. You have to get to that point for that to manifest. Because remember, if you've got a feeling of anxiety, that's because you're having anxious thoughts. So those anxious thoughts are creating, your thoughts create, period. That's the law. Okay. So you can see how you have to be at neutral, natural. Okay. Because then obviously you're having thoughts that aren't overly good, they're not like totally like exciting, getting your hopes up. So I say neutral, natural, because sometimes people are scared to get their hopes up, because if they get their hopes up too much and get too excited, then when it doesn't happen, they drop their hopes, But again, when you have a manifestation, you've only got that really excited feeling for like a little while, but then it goes and you're But no, I mean, if you say, well, look at, what, I intend to feel like he loves me. And, I can feel that he loves me and I see that he loves me. He tells me that he loves me. Great. Sure. Create those feelings as well. Right. But the baseline you want is neutral, natural, because that is now you're creating neutral sort of thoughts about it. Well, not even neutral, but you're not creating negative thoughts about it to create negative feelings. Okay. So yeah, if you want to create even more like how you're going to feel with the person, you're going to feel good, excited, whole, complete. Start creating that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just most people, they tend not to, because they don't want to get their hopes up, and then then when it doesn't happen right away, get disappointed, right? So neutral, natural is a really good place to be when you go to create something, because there's not a lot of hype up to be let down and disappointed. You're just in a neutral, natural state, right? But basically, the more that you put towards your feeling, seeing, hearing, then the more vivid and clear you become on it, then the better. Okay. Because I think clarity is like half the battle, being clear on what you want. Because when you're clear on what you want, then you go to the same thoughts, you go to the same intentions, and it's crystal clear, because it takes persistent assumption. So if you're not clear and focused on what you want, you're going to be all over the place. Okay. And, your thought here, there, it's not going to come through. It's going to be all mushy-mashy, wishy-washy, hot or cold, right? Because we're all over the place. But if we're clear, concise, we've got the vision, okay, we trust the process, then we're on our way. Okay. So if you can get yourself to a state of feeling like you already have it, then great. And if that's not going to let you down, then great. Definitely do it. Right. Baseline though, get to neutral, natural. That's the baseline. Okay. I stay in neutral, natural. I don't see the point myself of getting all hyped up and into something, because I know it's going to happen and it's not like a huge deal. Like I know I don't need to get to this like major, like, major engrossed state of, feeling like I have it. Just having my thoughts from the end, I already know I have it, so in it. And again, I mean, I feel like, like I don't feel overly, excited or anything like that. So like, I hope that helps, right? Let's take a look here. So 30 minutes and 4 seconds. SK's question. What do we got here? So thanks so much for your amazing videos and teaching. They are so helpful. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here. I also have a question about feeling is a secret. Okay, so Neville Goddard talks about feeling the wish fulfilled, but some of the big things I'm trying to manifest seem far away and hard to feel. Yeah, exactly. I know. Is it necessary to be able to feel it? No, just neutral, natural. Just be absent of, resentment, anxiety, worry, all that negative stuff, right? If I can't feel it, doesn't mean I can't manifest it. No, of course not. Just feel neutral, natural about it. If your thoughts create your emotions, so if you're having thoughts that are focused on what you want, okay, you're automatically creating what you are feeling, what you're going to get. So if you say right now, Gerry loves me, that statement has just created the feeling in you that Gerry loves you. Okay. If you say Gerry hates me, that statement just created the feeling. And oh my, I just felt that too. I just felt that in my stomach. Ugh, gross. So as soon as you say that, all of a sudden you will feel it, because our thoughts create our emotions. Okay. So just by saying Gerry loves me, you've automatically created the feeling of having it. Okay. So I think we're striding for a feeling that isn't there. You know what I mean? It's just by stating what you want and thinking from it, saying, I have more than enough money to spend to buy whatever I want. There, that statement is from the end of, being wealthy, and it's also creating the feeling like you already have it. Okay. For some big things, I also have a knot in my stomach feeling, which I think means I don't believe I can have what I want, or it's not possible for me. While repeating this, saying the intentions override this feeling. Well, you've got to dig in. What's giving you the knot in your stomach? Okay, there's something there. Okay, that's creating the knot in your stomach. I would start dumping out all your thoughts and feelings about that knot and changing them into positive intentions. Okay, so your thoughts create your feelings. So, you want to basically dig it out. Is it a bad knot, a good knot? I mean, is it excitement? Like, I'm not even sure what it is, but, you want to kind of start, digging it out. Like, what's giving you that knot in your stomach? Obviously, there's something that you're thinking, and that's causing that feeling. Okay. Now, how these feelings get created when we're not even sure what thoughts they are is, like, a dentist is a really good example of this. Okay. So when you go to the dentist, right? So when you're younger, you go and then you realize they put a drill in your mouth and needles and it hurts, and nobody likes the dentist. You hear other people say they don't like the dentist. So all of a sudden, after like your experience with the dentist, after they've like drilled and like prodded at your teeth, right? All of a sudden, right? And the freezing's worn off, right? All of a sudden you go to the dentist, and as soon as you hear that drill, boom, you get this anxiety and butterflies in your stomach, this nervousness. Okay. That's because you've got already a thought process that's been subconsciously programmed in through your conscious thoughts previously. Okay. And what ends up happening is, as soon as you hear that drill, it triggers it. Okay. So obviously something is triggering that knot in your stomach feeling. Now you got to figure out what that is. Okay. Or you can just say, well, I intend to feel good. I'm not sure what it would take to get rid of that without talking to you. Like, we need to do coaching to figure that out, but because your thoughts create that feeling of your knot in your stomach. So I don't know how to undo it without actually talking to you about it. But, the thing is, right, is, for instance, you can, talk yourself out of that feeling of being in the dentist and getting nervous by basically going, no, you know what, it's always fine. Like the nervousness would be getting the drill, and that nervousness comes from, basically having a cavity. So then the solution is, I have perfect teeth. The dentist always says I've got no cavities and that my teeth are always incredibly healthy. Okay. And then that you start creating that. And then all of a sudden you go to the dentist, you got no cavities, you go to the dentist, you got no cavities, and you never have any cavities, and you never need dental work done again. Then all of a sudden, when you start creating that evidence, that becomes a belief, and then boom, you no longer have that feeling when you go to the dentist. Do you get what I'm saying? So That's how that works. Okay. So Heather's question, we've got Heather's question at 34 minutes and um, for 34:51. And somebody just asked here about the Patreon. So we'll just add, there's the Patreon. I put the link right there. Okay, 35 minutes and 3 seconds, 35.03. So let's see here. Oops, we're not going to put that link in there. I'll just put the time. You guys know what the time means on this group. Hi, Amanda. It's Heather again. Hi, Heather. I have a serious question, okay? I will give you a serious answer. I have a very close family friend, young man, who was fine last month when I saw him. Okay, so I was just told he had terminal cancer. I'm very sorry to hear that. After initially going to the hospital and being diagnosed with CV-19. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Turns out they're saying, well, you know what terminal means. Okay, so I've been sending such energy and visualizing him in perfect health. I know it's possible, as my own father was told he had terminal cancer and weeks to live. And that was 30 years ago, and he is still very much alive. Okay, good. See, you've got previous evidence, okay, that it really doesn't matter, okay, and that you can turn it around because that's how that works. So I'm just believing with everything that he can overcome this. And yes, we will intend that Elf is fine as well. In fact, everybody, please on this watching this, intend that Elf is healthy and fine, and that we can see him come out of the hospital and say, I'm great, and that it was a miracle that I survived. Okay, so yeah, yeah, we're all going to intend it for you. Okay, Heather. So can you share intentions for more power? Yeah, my intentions are powerful. Everything I intend always comes, always manifests, stuff like that. Okay, so everybody, let's intend that Elf is healthy. Okay, let's take a look here. So 36 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay, 36:50. We've got Danielle's question. Hi, Amanda. I'm so grateful for your videos. Oh, thank you. Coaching and the Patreon. They are so helpful. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I was wondering if you had any tips about overcoming fear of competition. Starting having faith that you're getting everything you want. I've been getting success with my specific person, and I've realized that I have this fear of having competition or not being enough, of not getting what I want. I've created, I'm talking to other girls, which I've been switching to he only talks to me and wants to be with me. I have a better understanding of now how parallel realities, and that has helped me in my manifesting. But I found this is something I've struggled with, and I'm sure many people have as well. Any tips? First of all, stop saying you're struggling with it. Sorry, just going to be honest. Now the thing is, right, is maybe let's understand this feeling of not being good enough. Okay. It just basically comes like that's just one thing that we as humans, it seems like we all of a sudden just take it personally. We like to give things meaning that actually don't have meaning. We're always searching for the meaning of things, the meaning of things. We're meaning making machines when really we literally are meaning making machines. Nothing has meaning because we created it, but we create the meaning we give it. Well, it's the same thing as, we always want to know why people do things. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Well, we've created it, right? So, but then we take it personally, like all of a sudden it's our fault. Like we're not good enough. That's why. So yeah, it's just a matter of just coming to the point of just saying I'm good enough and repeating it enough. Like I used to have the story that I wasn't good enough. Like I seriously did. And then, you know what? It would knock on the door and I'd let not good enough in and I'd like have dinner with it and pour it some wine and it'd sit around all weekend watching Netflix with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, And then all of a sudden, you know what? I started saying I was good enough. Okay. And then not good enough would knock on the door and it'd be like, nope. I'd look and I'd be like, I'd open it and I'd be like, nope, not today, not good enough. I'm busy this weekend because I'm good enough. And then sure enough, it'd come back, it'd knock, I'd hear it knock, and I'd look at the door. Nope, I am good enough. And then eventually the thought of me not being good enough just stopped altogether. Okay. So create that other people tell you you're good enough. Create, but you've really just got to start telling yourself that repeatedly. Right? You tell yourself something long enough, it becomes a lie. I mean, it always boggles me, okay, how people will believe the negative thoughts so much more easily than the positive thought. Neither of them are true. They're just thoughts. Thoughts are nor true nor not true. They're just thoughts. And so, but all of a sudden, a negative thought is way more believable than a positive thought. Well, I mean, where that comes from is past history and conditioning, right? So you've just got a lot of story that you've proven to yourself that you're not good enough. You need to start proving to yourself that you are good enough by start focusing on being good enough. Okay, so you've got to keep telling yourself that. And as you keep telling yourself that, you're going to get proof, you're going to start to believe it, and then it's going to start to be a natural thing. But don't get me wrong, okay? Anytime I go to start something new, anytime, okay, there's always the question of, is it because I'm not good enough? And then it's like, okay, Amanda, don't be silly, okay? It's like, seriously, you are good enough. You're perfect. Look at each and every one of you guys out there are perfect, okay? You're perfect. You've got thoughts, okay? You've got a body in this 3D world. That's all you need. You are perfect, okay? Create what you want. And even if you create something that you didn't want, don't blame it that you're not good enough. That's why you got it. Just change the story about it. Okay. So common, we create, oh, we have this story about Gerry, he can't be trusted. All of a sudden he goes and cheats on me. Am I not good enough? Why did he do that? Well, no, he just did that because I happen to assume that he was an untrustworthy teddy bear. And then he went and did that. Like, do you know what I mean? So, realize that other people's actions, okay, towards you are not because of who you are and how good you are of a person. You're perfect, okay? You just accidentally had a bad assumption about somebody and then it happened to manifest in your reality, okay? Don't make a second story about it being part of your self-worth, okay? Just look at it for what it is, right? And know that you can change Gerry, okay? Do you get what I'm saying? Next question. I've got this 25. Okay, this one I'm actually definitely going to answer. I always answer all of them, but I was looking at this one earlier today, and I definitely wanted to answer this one. So this one is going to be at 41 minutes and 42 seconds. Okay, so let me just 41, 42. So I've got this 25's question is, hey, Amanda, heavy question here. I know. It's about current events. How does one deal with the current environment of protest and racial tension? Do you have any intentions one can say to at least cope? I know everyone is pushed out, but honestly, as a Black woman hearing this stuff, it's hard not to be triggered and stay on a mental diet. I'm very sorry this is happening. Please, since everyone is you pushed out, would that mean I helped to create this man's horrific death and everything that's followed? And that doesn't sit well with me. Any guidance is greatly appreciated. Okay, so we're going to go into depth in this. I usually don't on these, these calls, but we were going to on this one. Okay, so first of all, it's really crazy that anybody, would, be racist towards somebody for something as silly as the color of their skin. I mean, by that mentality, basically being racist to somebody who's got different color skin. Why aren't we racist to people that have a suntan? Okay. Like, seriously, you know what I mean? Like, that's like saying to someone, saying somebody with a suntan doesn't have as equal rights as somebody that's pasty white. Okay. So first of all, there's no room for racism. It's got to be the craziest, silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, I mean, it's obviously present in our realities because it's showing up. Now, how did it get created? Okay, so first of all, things aren't created specifically. You didn't specifically say this is racism, okay? But, I remember, right, being a woman, I remember, and I'm not sure if any of you guys are old enough to remember this, but there was a time when women were actually a lower class citizen, okay? And, the funny thing is, right, is there are some people that I know that are older, like my parents' generation, that still talk about how women have, lesser rights and women aren't equal. Okay. And it was just before I was born that, there was this whole, women's equal rights movements and how women became equal because women used to get paid less in the jobs and da 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 da. Well, see, now that was a view that they had. Okay. And they were still creating it to this day. Okay. Like, my view has always been, no, you know what? I get paid just as much as men. I see that I've got equal rights. I've always had equal rights because I grew up in that. I've always created that. Okay. So now, did I create, women having lesser rights before? Well, yeah, absolutely. Somehow, generally, I did. Okay. Even just by saying there's good and bad in the world. Okay. So Did you specifically create it? No. Have you created, it generally? Yeah. I mean, everybody has, just by saying people live and die. There you go. Bad things happen. Boom, created. Okay. So let's not blame ourselves and beat ourselves up over it, because there's no point in that. We're only making it worse. We're only causing more of the problem. Okay. Let's start focusing on peace. Let's start focusing on people putting things back together. Let's start focusing on everybody getting along. Let's start saying that racism is a thing in the past. Let's focus on what the solution is. Okay. Let's get together and let's start visualizing everybody taking the boards off of all the windows, everybody helping to fix up the stores again, everybody helping to, help people get back together, everybody, sending flowers to everybody, taking the time, and anybody that was affected by this to help make them whole again, anybody that was hurt in these riots or anything, to have people come and help them to get better and to give them what they need. Let's start focusing on everybody being at peace and loving together. Okay. Let's start making these sort of things a thing of the past. Even by watching and focusing on talking about riots, talking about racism we created. Okay. So, it's not about ignoring it though. It's about focusing on what we want instead. So Neville's got this technique. It's called remember when. Remember when there was racism, but now everybody gets along peacefully because everybody realized that it doesn't get anybody anywhere, that it's stupid. Let's start focusing on how, what, we've, everybody has equal rights, everybody is an equal citizen. Okay, let's start focusing on how, what, every leader of every country, promotes that people get along, and that everybody of every race and color is just as valuable as the next person. Okay, let's start focusing on how everybody in the world, everybody gets along, everybody's, evolved and learned from past history, just to, start getting along and working together and being together. It's crazy in this time that, there's the virus going on, that now we've got this going on. Let's start focusing on everybody being incredibly healthy and everybody at peace. There's a song by John Lennon. It's called Imagine. And that song's amazing. It talks about imagining everybody in peace, living together in peace and harmony. Okay, let's start focusing on that. Okay, so every time that you do hear, the every time you do see the things with the race and everything, start in riots, start focusing on how, what, everybody's going to learn from this. Everybody's going to start getting along. Everybody's going to see how silly racism is, and realize that there's no point, that they're just going to focus on peace and love and getting together and accepting one another and helping in one another, because this is who we are. So, everyone, as you pushed out, did I create this in my reality? Absolutely. I'm very sorry for that it wasn't specific. Did I specifically create it? No, of course not. No. I didn't specifically create it. I've generally created it. Sure. I mean, I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to admit, sure. You know what? Obviously my flaws, viruses and the people getting along in the world is quite on point, and even I need to obviously focus more on peace, love, and understanding, but did I specifically go out and create it? No. I mean, little thoughts, like little thoughts of, look at, what's the world coming to? I mean, right? So really take this time to, start focusing on what you want, but don't take this personally and beat yourself up that you specifically created it. That's not how this works. Everyone, as you pushed out, is not a tool to beat yourself up for what you've created. Use it as a learning experience, and then use it as an opportunity to focus on what we want and to create what we want. Okay, it's a valuable experience to go, okay, wait a minute, what, let's make this, an intention once and for all. Like with the COVID, I mean, the one thing I'm like, look, I intend that they have a vaccine for every virus out there, like done. Okay, I intend that they're able to cure them all, and I intend that viruses never affect humans again, because we've got medical technology that is really superior, and the viruses are going to be a thing of the past. I don't care how it's going to happen, but that's what's going to happen. And this is when it's going to happen, because of what's happening now. Okay, so let's start changing everything right now for the future, and let's stop beating ourselves up for what's shown up right now. Okay, because it wasn't specific, it was general. And, and there's nothing good or bad, right or wrong. It's all just experience. Okay, so we've got to stop beating ourselves up for what we've created. We just have to look at it and say, look at, oops, do I like that? No. Okay, let's start focusing and changing it. Okay. I mean, let's be honest, okay? I mean, I don't want to talk too much about riots or anything bad because again, we want to focus on what's the solution. But let's just go with this, right? Like, this has been going on for quite some time. This isn't the first time this has happened. This all of a sudden didn't happen right now. So this has been something that's been going on. It's been continually going. It's been an agreement reality in the world now for quite some time. Okay, even racism, it's been going on for quite some time. I remember Rosa Parks. She broke the mold by sitting in the front of the bus, and good for her, because she didn't deserve, nobody deserves to be put in the back of the bus, right? So good for her, So it's been going on for quite some time, and it's been an agreement reality in our reality. So either we focus and feed that agreement reality, or we start to shift it and we start to say everybody's shifting that reality. So did you create this one incident right now? No, but it's been something that's been an agreement reality that's been accepted as part of our history culture. Okay. And we need to start shifting it going forward. So all it did was come up and make us aware of it to help shift it going forward. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. You know what, guys, we're all in this together. Let's go out there and is and show each other love. Like, let's get along. Let's imagine everybody being peaceful. Let's imagine everybody, being together. I know all of you guys do. All of you law of attraction people are amazing. Like, all of you guys are. Every single one of you guys are understanding. You guys are all caring. You're a great community. Okay. Let's start getting together right now, putting our powers together and imagining and intending the rest of the world getting together and being absolutely amazing. Yeah. Pardon me. Excellent question. Excellent questions. So, yeah. Anyways, guys. Yeah, vaccines. I mean, again, everyone's you pushed out. Probably wouldn't create that. Vaccines are dangerous for you. I mean, I'm just going to go with, let's talk about vaccines for a second. I used to be an anti-vaccine person, but then I realized that I've never had the measles because it's eradicated by a vaccine, right? So, and I'm healthy. There's a lot of things that I've had vaccines for, but again, everyone's you pushed out. This is all a holodeck. So if you want to believe that vaccines are dangerous, then they're going to be dangerous to you. They're actually going to affect you probably and nobody else because you're creating that. So create that they are healthy and they're good and they are going to be good for you. Or, you know what? Let's take another step. Who cares even about vaccines? Why not just create that somehow? The virus is going to be eradicated for like the whole entire world, and it doesn't matter how it happens. So guess what? It may happen in a different way than not a vaccine, right? So that's another way to go about it as well. Okay. So yeah. So take a look at it. It doesn't necessarily have to be vaccines. It can be really anyway, right? But again, keep in mind, right? Everyone is you pushed out, your thoughts create. So if you create that something is going to make you sick, guess what? You're going to take it. It's going to make you sick. It's not going to make everybody sick, but it's going to make you sick. Okay. And, because that's what you're actually creating, because you can create your health and everything with the law of attraction, because everything that you're experiencing in your reality is basically created by your intentions, by your thoughts, and they've proven that in quantum physics. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for being here. You guys are all amazing. And yeah, I hope everybody creates something wonderful today. Me and Gerry with all of his post-it notes stuck to him. We got some things to do. We got some great videos coming up, guys. Just to preview how to get him to commit and think it's his idea. That video's coming. A great one with Connie tomorrow, actually, about accepting your current reality. So like not resisting your current reality. That one's going to post tomorrow. So we got some really great, yeah. So we got some really great videos coming up. But anyways, guys, thank you for being here. Please join the Patreon group if you would like. The description is the links in the description below. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next Patreon. Bye-bye.